Hello, world history students. This is Mrs. Politsky, and I have your notes for the Far East Unit, Chapter 27, Section 1. And we're going to talk about unrest in Asia and Africa, but primarily Asia here. In number one, the May 4th movement of 1919 was a series of protests and strikes by thousands of angry students who demanded change in Beijing. The May 4th movement is really kind of the beginning of the communist movement in China. And if you think about the context of the year 1919, if you were in Russia at this period of time, this is probably about the second year into the Russian Revolution and the rise of communism in that part of the world. So, knowing that China is kind of the close neighbor of the Soviet Union, I guess it isn't that big of a surprise that you're seeing this type of activity happening in that part of the world. In number two, in 1921, the Communist Party was formed in China, and together with the Kuomintang, both groups worked together to fight the warlords who controlled parts of China and the imperialists being your Europeans who were colonialist. They were led by a man named Chiang Kai-shek, who you see on the cover of Time magazine. In time, Chiang Kai-shek turned against the communists, and eventually this will lead to a civil war in China between the communists and the Kuomintang, or sometimes known as the nationalist. Um, so, needless to say, it was a kind of a strife that's going to happen over a period of time. This is going to go on through parts of the 1920s, and as we get to the 1930s, the Civil War is going to kind of quiet down for a time. So, in number three, the Long March was a 6,000-mile trek through China led by the communist leader Mao Zedong to find a safe place for Chinese communists to regroup. This took place basically between 1934 and 1935. They were being kind of pushed out by the Kuomintang or the nationalists. But also, if you understand the context of the time, this is about the time that we're starting to hear a little bit about the rise of Imperial Japan. And Japan certainly was very interested in gaining territory in China. And certainly, this is going to be actually a uniting factor for the communists in the Kuomintang or the nationalists at some point in time. Thank you very much.